Hello friends, welcome to Game It Up. My name is Dave and this is a review for the Pedestrian for the Nintendo Switch. Before we get started, I want to thank you all for stopping by, and if you like what you see here, please click that subscribe button if you want to see more. We're getting ever so closer to that 2,000 subscriber pizza party we've promised, and it'll be awesome to see you all there. So this is going to be my more casual personal story review of this game. If you want to see a more formal review with scores and everything, I have written a review for Switch Up, and that review will be linked in the top pinned comment once that review goes live. I first played the Pedestrian last year on Game Pass. It was actually the first game we ever streamed on Twitch, so it holds some significance to us in some ways. But I do remember at the time thinking, this game would work really well on the Switch. And as luck would have it, the publisher very kindly gave me a review code. Thank you very much. But why would it work well on the Switch, I hear you all cry. Never fear, I shall explain. The Pedestrian has you taking control of the person that you see in public signs, whether that be on the toilet or roadworks. Just that simple stick figure style you see on plenty of things, and naturally the gameplay takes place inside those signs. This is a 2D puzzle platformer. You need to navigate your way through the signs in order to progress to the next one. The controls are fairly straightforward, just pressing A or B to jump and Y to pick up an item or activate a switch. But the interesting mechanic comes when you press the X button. This zooms the camera out so you can see the surroundings of the sign you are currently in. You see, when you exit one sign, you'll appear in another. When you enter rooms that have multiple signs in, this is where the puzzling really begins. When you are in the zoomed out view, as we'll call it, you take control of a cursor. You can then move the signs around and connect them with cables to create a path between the doors to take you from one sign to another. They need to make sense, so right facing doors need to be connected to a left facing door, and top ladders need to connect to a bottom ladder. You cannot just go up a ladder to come out of a side door. Once you've connected them up, you can move between them. The signs need to be laid out so the cables aren't passing through a sign either. And once you have started navigating through the maze you've created, you cannot make any changes, otherwise your position resets. You can create paths after you start if you wish to work it out as you go, but once you've used a door or ladder, you cannot change where that entrance goes. This is indicated by a stripy line if you've already used it. The puzzles obviously start out simple but get more complex, beginning with simply working out a route to the exit, but eventually you'll need to find keys to open doors, blocks to push, lasers to avoid, and you get some central areas that require you to find multiple items from different areas to use in that central hub. There are noodle scratchers up the wazoo here. So you can probably guess why I said this would work well on the Switch. If not, then it's simply because you can use the touchscreen while manipulating the signs. And using it works really well, and it's very intuitive. I sadly had to play it with normal controls to capture footage, but once I had recorded enough, I could go to using it handheld, and it is much more enjoyable that way. The puzzles themselves do get very complex and can seem overbearing at first. There were plenty of times I got to a new area and had to take a few seconds just to stare at it, and I would even spend a long time on the same one, just trial and error and not understanding what to do next. But I was never at a puzzle for too long to the point that I found it more frustrating than fun. I don't want to spoil too much of this game, but there were some very clever puzzles in here. Although I described it as a 2D puzzle platformer, the world itself is in 3D, and it looks really nice, showing off a believable environment with you flitting between signs that could actually exist in this world. You have things like roadwork signs out on barriers, or you'll become a digital sign as you enter a screen. It was very immersive, and you could occasionally manipulate the world itself, such as driving a train to new areas. There was a range of music to listen to as you play, some of it whimsical, some a cappella style, and some of it was very minimal, making it seem more atmospheric. It It was a nice accompaniment to the game and was never distracting. So the Pedestrian has a fantastic premise, works really well with the Switch's controls, and had some very clever puzzles and mechanics, but I do understand this sort of game isn't for everyone. If you find these sorts of puzzles too frustrating, then you may not find much enjoyment here, but if you don't mind them or want to give the genre a go, then this is a pretty good one to check out, even if you're a seasoned veteran. Then this is definitely a unique take on this style of game. It is priced at £15.09, and your time with this game may vary depending on how good you are at this sort of thing. It'll probably take maybe 4 hours on average to beat this one, which isn't a long time, but at the same time I find other games I've played in this genre take as much or less. And it's important something like this doesn't outstay its welcome, as if they kept on upping the ante, the puzzles could end up being too confusing and will make you want to give up. If you feel that's too short of a game for that price, then stick it on the wishlist and wait for a sale, but if you've been enjoying the footage you've seen and can't wait to give it a go, then this is a great purchase, especially for the Switch, as those touch controls are worth it. Thank you for checking out this review, let me know down below what you think of this game, and remember to subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks again for watching, I'll see you in the next one.